Hello everybody and welcome to Flint, Michigan and welcome to the Genesee Valley Center Mall. You guys know when I've done the two anchors here, so, per usual, it's time for the mall and boy, is this mall really hurting. And it's about to be really hurting after it's down to one anchor, but we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so the history of this mall was developed in 1970s by Shopping Center Incorporated of Southfield, Michigan, which, interestingly enough, was a retail division of Detroit, Michigan's based Hudson's department store. Yes, that's right. Hudson's department store helped design this mall. If you guys have known other videos that I've done before, you guys have seen that some other ones have done it. Sears did it a few times. JCPenney did it years ago. It's kind of interesting to see that anchors truly have that much power. And we're seeing that play out now when anchors leave. Aka, and why Eddie Lampert has so much power in these malls. But anyway, not the point of this one. Now, it was built as a one-level enclosed shopping mall consisted of a straight-line corridor with an anchor store at what's called either end, with Sears, the northern anchor, which was the first store to open, doing so in May 1970. Hudson's, which you guys know how build the mall, was finished 2 months later in July, and it was the chain's largest store outside of the Detroit area. Of course, there's a store that's even larger that you guys will see later, but now, on August 8th, 1970, Genesee Valley Center officially opened to the public. At the time, it comprised of 56 stores, including, as I mentioned, those two anchors, as well as a Hamady Brothers supermarket, Cunningham Drugs, and then a month later, a Woolworths 5 and dime store was added as like a junior anchor per se. So, that's very nice. In 1979, there was an expansion to the mall that added the what's called Eastern Wing, which was anchored by the JCPenney, which is still there, obviously. That's what we're going to be heading down here in a second. And then in 1987 was when they added in the upper level food court. Now, sadly, the current owners of the mall, which is Namdar Realty, close that part off if there's no food court tenants. You guys will get a quick shot of that. I got a quick shot, like, holding up, like, my camera up there, but unfortunately we couldn't go up there. It was blocked off in the elevators and escalators. I would have loved to see that, but it is what it is. Not much we can do about it. Now, in 1987, as well, later on that year, was the Cunningham drugstore officially closed, and it was demolished in 1993, which also at that point added in a Montgomery Wards, which we know did not last very long. Now, the additions brought the mall to 1.3 million square feet of gross usable area, which also made it the largest mall outside of the Detroit metro. So kind of interesting. And we're only about an hour outside of Detroit at this point, north. But now, some point late in the 90s, Woolworths was briefly downsized to a cosmetic-oriented prototype store called Woolworths Express before closing entirely. Now, obviously, in 2001, the Montgomery Wards closed as a whole company, went belly up, and now only exists online. But anyway, that same year, Hudson's was also rebranded into the Marshall Field, which later became Macy's, obviously, as the May company merged with Federated. Which is kind of, what ruined that company, and you guys are seeing this year the effects of that. Now, in the mid-2000s, there's been so many changes, Started in 2005, the Montgomery Ward location was demolished in 2005 for a new section called the Outdoor Village, opened up in 2006. This addition features additional mall tenants in an outdoor setting, including Barnes & Noble, which resulted in the closure of the B. Daltman bookstore in the mall itself, which is kind of sad. I would have loved to see that. I've only seen one B. Daltman bookstores before, so that's kind of sad. Now Marines, if I'm saying that right, closed its Michigan operations in early 2006. A year later, their space in the mall was replaced with Burlington Coat Factory, which of course is now known as just a Burlington. Now, Stephen Barry's was added into the former Woolworth space. It closed in early 2009 when their chain declared bankruptcy and became a clothing store called the Ware District in October. Now, Ware District later closed and became what was the Shoe Depot Encore. Now, in 2012, the mall was so Now, as I mentioned, was sold to Spinoso Group, and Spinoso has a pretty good history of malls, so it's sad that they couldn't hold on to this mall, or else maybe this mall would be a lot better shape than it is now. You guys are already seeing this mall not doing very well. Now, since 2002, this mall has had a Genesee District Library in it. I thought that was really cool. It I think it's very cool to have a library in the mall, and I think it does, help at least bring some people in, 'cause some people, still rely on the library, especially the older generation. Now, in 2013, there was another remodel, which really focused on remodeling storefronts such as Bath and Body Works, K Jewelers, Justice, Victoria's Secret, and Lane Bryant also moved at this point, which was vacated, which in their new spot that was Ruby Tuesday. And then of course, they also added some new additions in 2015, which included a Planet Fitness open up, which you guys will see later, next to the former Burlington's, and an H&M open in the JCPenney wing in November 2017. So, this mall has tried, and they have a lot of different junior anchors. I think that's helping it keep it afloat, but I just think the condition of the mall, and knowing the current owners, Namdar, it doesn't help anything. Now, the first anchor to leave was Burlington Coat Factory, located to a strip mall on May 11th, 2018. And then, of course, later on that year, Sears closed on September 2nd, which left JCPenney and Macy's as the only anchors, there. Now, on December 15th, 2018, Play Bay, an indoor playground system of mostly full of houses and arcades, opened in the former Burlington space. Now, they weren't open the day I was there. I don't know if they're still there. It doesn't say. I don't think they're still there, because it looks like the space is completely vacated. So if that's the case, it's empty again, and that's sad. But it is what it is. Now, Forever 21, closing this mall in 2019 is one of the junior anchors after it literally moved earlier before, but, it happens. Forever 21 now, if you guys heard the news, is now completely going out of business, so not that surprising that they left here, but, and then 2025, this year brought a really big hold of the mall as well, because Macy's announced that Genesee Valley would be closing, which will leave JCPenney as the last remaining anchor tenant, and I think that could be potentially the end of the mall. Penny's does well by themselves. You guys have seen many malls where Penny's the only anchor, but you guys see the condition of this mall and how big it is. I just don't think it can make it. In this current form. I hope it can make it. I really do. This mall is. I really love the aesthetics here. Even though the food court's walled off, which would be cool to see, but I do really like this mall. I enjoy my visit here. I wish I could have spent more time, but you guys will see I had a busy day that day. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking for music and for the rest of the video. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe. And what are your thoughts on Genesee Valley Mall? Do you see after Macy's leaves it can survive, or do you think it will reach the mall graveyard that has taken many victims with the last couple of years? But anyway, this is Alex signing off from Flint, Michigan, and I'll see you guys for the next video. And enjoy the rest of this one. Bye-bye, guys.